That's catchy.
It's really good, isn't it? At least one of the devices is also making that noise.
Yeah. Hello, world, and welcome to your usual Friday Hacktoberfest fix words. Welcome. Today I'm joined by my lovely colleague Lorna. Welcome,
Hi.
Lorna.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Happy Friday, Paul.
Happy Friday to you too. Happy rainy Friday, but hey ho, England.
Got my cup of tea. I mean, I'm just. This is my life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the early 5 o'clock tea or coffee for some. Awesome. Thank you for joining me. Obviously, you're a regular on this channel and you stream on yours as well. But for that one person that doesn't know who you are, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lorna. I'm a developer advocate at Vonage. I work with Paul. Sometimes I stream here or on my own stream. But what can I say about myself? I'm a software developer with a tendency to write a lot of words and explain things to people. That's why I'm in developer relations, and I love it.
Yep. And my name is Paul Adelino, and I kind of do pretty much the same thing that Lorna is doing. I enjoy talking to people and writing about things and building MVPs, I would call them, or kind of proof of concepts, or small things. And just as Lorna, I don't actually stream on my personal one. I used to, probably starting the new year when I find a bit of time. But we have a stream. The team I'm part of has a stream on Mondays, and the next one is on. It's next Monday, at 2 p.m., I believe, UK time. Yeah, next week is going to be a funny one because of a difference between States and Europe on time zones. Not time zones, but...
It's the week where everyone is an hour closer to us than usual. We have some familiar faces in the chat. Exy's here, Martin's here. Hi, everyone.
Oh, awesome. Let me load.
I am also streaming on this channel next week. It will be Developer Drop-In, and we will be focusing on voice API tricks.
Nice. Didn't you do the last one on the Go library? Was it?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I streamed about the Go SDK, which is a new thing for us. We've just launched it. We've had some good interest, people using it already, which is awesome. Go is a really ideal platform for wrapping our APIs with. So yeah. It's been really nice to see the engagement as well. So that's my pet project at the moment. That's what I've been working on recently as well. I see Laura in chat. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Laura.
And Paul, if you're following the chat, Paul's just shared the Hacktoberfest information with you, which is a good reminder, Paul, that we're supposed to be talking about Hacktoberfest today.
Yes.
X is asking, do you stream on Lorna Jane TV? I don't think I follow you. You should follow me, Exy, because I have 99 followers right now. Yep. So you can help me reach my milestone. Yeah, I was live this morning doing a little bit of actually open source maintenance in the early morning before I started my day job.
Yeah, that's actually one thing we're gonna go back and a bit later about the life of maintainers, and because we always talk about PRs and people joining the open source, but we never talk about the other side of a coin, of the work that goes in there. Sometimes unnoticed. Sometimes it's a lot of digging through and understanding things and making sure that things are not kind of going downhill and quality is maintained and so on. Okay, yeah. So today we're going to talk about Hacktoberfest. Before we go into some PRs, I would like to invite you also to join our Discord. So there's actually a Discord command. Alex is here as well. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Greg. Alex. Hi, Greg. Hi, Luke. Luke's laughing at our coordinated lighting. Yeah, we're good, aren't we?
Yes.
We had a little chat about colours before we started. I hope you like what we chose.
Yeah. I went on brand quite extreme. Well, not extreme, but I did my best to actually be on brand, especially with the gradients and stuff. And I even got the T-shirt to prove it.
I haven't quite managed to get as far. I'm just dressed as myself today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I usually don't wear Nexmo T-shirts, but I thought today just make an exception.
That's one of my favorite Nexmo T-shirt designs. We have a bunch of things in that design. I really like it.
Yeah, it's quite a nice design. It has different colors as well. So. Change the background. There you go.
Magic.
Yeah, magic buttons. Cool. So this is our Hacktoberfest page. If you go to developer.expo.com/Hacktoberfest, you've probably been seeing this for a while now. Still the same page, still the same information. The projects are still there, exactly the same thing. Don't forget, if you have a PR that was merged against one of our repositories, you can claim a pair of socks or £5 Open Collective gift card. The socks, I heard, they're really nice. So yeah, get
I
your
don't know
socks.
if I'm going to get socks, but they do look good, don't they?
I have a feeling that we're gonna get socks as well.
Yay!
Yeah, and also if you missed all of these different Hacktoberfest Tuesdays, there is one more left next Tuesday, the Hacktoberfest Europe. We're going to talk about this in a second when we're going to go through the different schedule we still have left for the rest of the October. Let's go straight into some PRs, because this is what we're here for. This is kind of the fun part of our job. As before, we have you can search for different issues across all of our repositories and different PRs. This is the list.
The font size a bit bigger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, my eyes, that's not amazing, but that is really small.
I can make the windows smaller.
Or that.
It looks better, yeah.
And your single sign-on has signed you out.
Did they sign me out again?
That's how that. Well, either that or the tab was already open.
I think it was already open. Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's
because there were 100 earlier when I looked, and for some reason I had to log back in.
You're missing the Vonage ones though. Yeah, that should be fine.
Probably.
Also, I was going to answer Exy's question, who wasn't planning to sign up, but is there a treat option? So there's two different giveaways, Exy, let me explain. If you participate in the main Hacktoberfest, so the central global event, you can choose either a t-shirt or a tree. And if you contribute specifically to the Vonage repos, then one merged pull request will win you either some socks or an Open Collective gift card if you want to spread the love without us posting things all around the world. That would be cool.
And Alex is making everyone hungry by sharing his morning breakfast.
No, I'm all right. I had bonus toast before I started streaming with you. I didn't want to be hangry on your stream, Paul.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look through. I prepared 3 different PRs, but I think it'll be good to look through. One of them is a very simple one. This was reported by our friend Terence. You probably know him from the community, Terence Eden. He noticed that the alt tag in some of the documentation on NDP is not displayed. So it's displaying as alt text. So that looked like an issue with the renderer. Something didn't work right. So someone picked it up yesterday, Shreya's.
Oh, yes.
And it's a fairly small fix. This is the fix, but it helps us a lot because that means we have proper accessibility on images. And if you look at the change, it's just as simple as this part wasn't escaped properly. So what he did, he added this extra character here.
Nice. I mean, it's a small change on one level, but it's a pretty crucial change. Yeah. Really? So that's really nice. Awesome. This is a really nice example. This is what I love about Hacktoberfest, because it means that people, come looking for issues and really dig into stuff. And this Nexmo Markdown renderer is used across our docs. So that's going to, it's going to make life better for so many of our documentation pages. Exactly. And I think Ben and Fabian are going to Ben actually marked it as Hacktoberfest yesterday, and he's going to get his pair of socks. So thank you very much. Yeah.
So his full name is Shreyas Shenivas. Hopefully I pronounced it right. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
I definitely recognize the username. I think maybe they're also in the Discord in Hacktoberfest chat going on over in the Hacktoberfest Discord. So
yeah, Luke is a fan of him. So
yeah.
Awesome.
That's all good.
Brilliant. So that was the first one. It was a fairly simple fix, but it helps us in a big way. So thank you for that. Another one that I have, it's similar to that, but it's a bit more convoluted. But this is a good example of a first kind of issue you can solve. This is simply just updating the README to explain what that particular repository does. So it just goes through the different installations on how to use it. It's effectively just a manual for that repository. And I think this is a really good way to learn how it works as well. And it's a good introduction on the life of technical writers. So,
and I love this. You know, if you go to a project that you want to use and the README isn't everything you hoped it would be, and make the README everything you hope it would be. Well, I have on my wish list for Hacktoberfest is a whole bunch of quite README contributions, because I feel like, I could fix a bug, but you know, I'm a writer, I have those skills, and I can bring them to any project and help improve the setup. So I love that we've had a bunch like this as well. So not just this README. If you are in chat or watching this on demand and you have contributed words, then trust me, I value it at least as much as the code. Thank you so much. It makes a big difference.
It does. So thank you. And hello to Sudipto in the chat as well.
Hi, Sudipto. Happy Friday.
Another regular, of ours. So yeah, this is another great contribution. You don't need to particularly understand everything that's happening in our SDKs, but just by understanding how it works and how this particular project works, and obviously adding links, I think that is a great addition. The third one I want to show you is something that happened last night, actually. I was watching our colleague's Michael stream, and after the stream, he raided Mary Jo. And she was working on this particular feature last night on her stream.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it was great. I didn't know that she was streaming. Mary Jo is one of our Vonage Voyagers. I know Mary Jo from our colleague Michael's stream chat. Yep.
So that I feel like our world is colliding in the best way.
Yeah, exactly. So she added some changes to Kevin's Build a Thing video repository. So this one, I think, she still has things to do. I don't think it's complete, but what I want to highlight is the fact that this is how you pick up things and learn new things. So before this one, from what she was saying last night, she didn't know much about the Vonage video API. Just by picking something that's already there and enhance it and adding new things. Because this is just new features, it's not bug fixes. I just want to give her a shout because she's doing some great working here and learning at the same time. And obviously, a big thank you for being a Voyager.
Yay, we love our Voyagers. And I can see Massini in the chat as well, cheering for Mary Jo. Hacktoberfest has been a great excuse for us to get together with people that we know or people that we've got to know through the event and have share code and experiences with them. It's just been amazing. We're falling behind on the hello, so I'll say hello to Felix and also to John. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah. And this is a great contribution, and hopefully at some point we might even get them on an official stream, and just kind of show us what they build, and because it'll be great to have them kind of explaining what they learn, the projects they build, and so on. So I just want to give her a shout in here, and if you don't follow her, she's on Twitch. She has her own Twitch channel, so if you want to follow her, she's another good person to follow. It's Mary Jo Stabler. Stabler? That's a Latin E, right?
We know everybody by their written nickname. Pronunciation is just decoration. X is asking, can you share how many people signed up for Vonage Hacktoberfest? So the plan, XE, is next Friday to bring together all the streamers, a bunch of the project maintainers, and as many statistics as we have by next Friday, which is the last weekday of Hacktoberfest, and to share a bunch of stats with you. So I don't know. I could share if I did, but we're going to share. So I'll make promises for next week on that.
That's right. Yes, we will show lots of numbers next week. So we work on those, and because next Friday it'll be the 30th. It'll be kind of close to the month, so they will be almost the real figures that we're going to get by the end of Hacktoberfest.
I only have figures from earlier in the week, and we had over 150 pull requests open then, so it'll be more than that. But I'm not sure how many individuals that is, but pretty close to that. We haven't had that many people open lots of pull requests that I've noticed. So yeah, we'll get you some numbers. So tune in next week. I'll give you a little cliffhanger to bring you back.
Yes, exactly. So there's still lots of things that you can see through here. Lots of things you can pick, and another thing I would encourage you to do, especially if you enjoy and kind of aspire to be a developer relations, is to just go in here and kind of pick up the things that we are doing, because this will include issues that we do against our internal repository, not internal, but the kind of repositories maybe outside of Hacktoberfest, maybe things that we do as open source, but we do it out in the open. And I think there's the one we were chatting about yesterday, Lorna. I'm not sure I saw it earlier, but it might be pushed to the second page.
Is it on one of the Vonage repos? Because you're not single signed onto Vonage, so those things won't be in your results.
Maybe, yes. Although it's Nexmo repository. It's the API specification. So it's the Nexmo. I think it's the Nexmo one.
Oh yeah, it might be on page 2 then.
Yeah, I think it's being pushed down.
Too many pull requests.
Oh, there you go.
Well, the bot was busy overnight. Dependabot.
Yeah. So this is the one I've asked Lorna for her help reviewing, and it's something that I do as part of my normal day-to-day job, updating some specifications. But if you want to get a glimpse into the glamorous life of DevRel, you can have a look through here and see how we're doing things and ask questions. And that's a good way to create some context with us. And you never know, might even join us at some point. Cool. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit, and I want to talk about a couple of blog posts that we had this week. Actually, one we had this week and one we had last week, and we briefly touched on it. But because we have you here, Lorna, I think it'll be nice to kind of expand a bit on it. Okay. So the first one that Noreen sent out last Friday with our stream is the 33 high-impact open source projects seeking contributors. And this is a great place to get started if you want to learn a particular technology, or if you want to make an impact in open source. They are categorized in different based on the programming language. Swift is not in here. But this is not not disappointed. But it's obviously not an exhaustive list, and it's more towards server-side languages. Swift does server-side, but not that famous and kind of not that popular. But there's some really good projects in here. Do you have anything that catches your eye, Lorna?
There's some really good ones in here. I loved. Oh yeah, you've just scrolled down to trends.earth, which is it's a Python one, and it's very data-driven. I think in tech, we need to use our platforms and our efforts to change the world. And this seems like a real grounded way of doing it. So I was happy to see this included. I mean, Noreen did a great job with this post. But I'll call that out as being one that really spoke to me.
Yeah, and there's some really interesting ones like Code.org, for example, that a lot of kids are using these days. And I know my daughters are at least one of them that likes coding. Went through all of the different tutorials they have, and kind of different learning paths, and it's a really great tool to teach kids programming. There are lots of other stuff. The Global Forest Watch, I guess, goes kind of along the same lines. I saw one further down earlier. Obviously OBS Studio. It's a tool that we use for streaming.
Yeah.
Always, it's an open source. Always open to additions. I think the one that I saw is this Open API generator. Obviously, we have our own thing written in Ruby. This is a Java one, so.
Well, actually, we're using this Java one. We're using Open API Generator. Yeah, so Open API Generator can generate a bunch of different things. It can generate documentation, and it's that we have our own implementation of. Yeah. But it can also generate both server stubs and client code as well. So it's the Open API Generator is what generated the kind of the mechanics of the Go SDK. So that's all generated off our API specification. So most of our SDKs until now have been hand built, but now the tooling is at a place where you can generate from the specs. So since I built the Go SDK this year, so the tools were already ready, then I use Open API Generator in that. So something that we actively use, and I expect to see us use it for other tools as well. Yeah, John's saying Open API Generator sounds really cool. It's only as good as your API description. And there's a few things that we need for our more complex APIs that are really difficult to express in code. And that's when things get sticky. But yeah, there's a lot of clever Open API stuff. And I feel like we were early adopters for sure, but we are to some extent just scratching the surface. So yeah, it's been a difficult one. I see John also said that they're just looking to do a bit of coding because of spending all the time doing meetings. Yeah, John, I think that's a really common problem. Paul's a manager now, so he probably would relate to that.
Yes, with pain in my voice. Yeah, it's in a way it makes coding more enjoyable because I long for it during some days when I have lots of meetings. So it's actually something that I'm looking forward even more to do. Yeah, that's a really good library to have. And also with this tool generating stuff, there are always new features that, for example, with OpenAPI spec, doesn't 3.1 have webhooks? So we always
3.1 has webhooks, and that should be fairly imminent. We're at RC1, which is supposed to be the implementers release. So a lot of the tooling is now hastily building support for webhooks. Redoc has it already. So I think that's going to be really interesting, especially for communications APIs, because by definition they are two-way. You can make calls to make an API call to make something happen, but when somebody phones you or sends you a message or an event comes into you, then it's going to come in through webhook, and we'll be able to describe those in the next version of OpenAPI spec. So I am beyond excited, and allegedly it's launching soon. So,
and this is an opportunity to actually contribute to something like a generator just by looking at new features that need to be implemented.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a few changes coming in the OpenAPI 3.1, and they're not huge, but like you say, all the tools will need to be updated. Even with the webhooks, that sounds like a really big feature, but in fact, it's very similar to the existing callback functionality. So I think it's worth a look if you have a favorite tool.
Yeah. Absolutely. The last one I want to highlight is this Rainforest Guardian thing. I love that Noreen actually went to the extent of finding a lot of these good initiatives that have a lot of kind of goodness behind them, and to some degree they're imperative that they should happen because of all the madness that's happening in the world. This is the first one. Thank you, Noreen, for publishing this. You can go to it if you go to blog.nextmode.com. That's probably the easiest way to get to it, and currently it's featured on the top spot. The second one I want, absolutely. There are lots of others, and more technical or less. There's one from our Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, great to see to read from him again. Cool. The second one I want to talk about is your own blog post, Lorna, and you did this kind of beginning of last week. Survive Hacktoberfest as a maintainer. How do you find Hacktoberfest as a maintainer?
Very unpredictable, if I'm honest. And I wear two different maintainer hats. So I'm a maintainer at work, where I'm paid to make Hacktoberfest work for everybody, which is delightful. And I've had some really good pull requests, and that's been great. It's more or less a denial of service for our team. We don't do a lot else in October, but it has its own rewards, and that's something that we've chosen together, and I think it's a win. For my personal, so I'm a maintainer in real life as well as at work, which I have been for many years on a choice of different projects, and I find it comes and goes. This year, the rules for Hacktoberfest changed, but we still tagged the projects that I work on outside of work as Hacktoberfest, and we've had a few things come in, and I've been genuinely impressed by that. Sometimes it can be quite overwhelming, whether at work or outside of work. Either way, that's a lot of notifications. It's a lot of things to keep track of. It's a lot of individuals to talk to. It's a lot of code changes sometimes. So I wanted to write this post and kind of give some advice for remembering what's important and just finding your way through. I mean, it's actually easier going for me this year because it's not conference season. I'm not on the road. Normally, I do Hacktoberfest in the middle of 6 weeks of consecutive travel with 8 talks in 4 different countries or something. That's my normal. So this year has been amazing because I have a bit more time and space. We're also in additional lockdown here, so I have to stay in. And my GitHub account has definitely benefited from that. And so I wanted to give it. So this post, if you are a maintainer, we won't run through it in detail, but have a look at this post because there's a few things I want you to know. One is that you are the most important thing here, followed by your project, followed by the contributors. The contributors are important. Bringing people into the fold is important. But just the project is the thing that's going to go on forever. Notification problems are a real thing, especially if you do have some projects belong with one email address and some projects belong with another. You don't want to be getting a lot of work notifications when you're not at work, and you also don't want to miss things in the noise. So configuring your notifications is really important. So I've got a bunch of advice on how to do that in this post. Be ruthless and close. If you know that you are not going to merge this pull request, close it because it helps everyone to understand where they stand. If you did not want your entire README rewritten into tables with emojis, that's fine. Just close. You think I'm joking? It happens. That's fine. Just close the pull request. The worst thing you can do is leave it and let it trail because it means it's difficult to see what's really happening in the project. When you have just a few minutes available, you then have to spend time figuring out where everything's at. Close, close, close. People can reopen, push new things. There's no way of it being a bad thing. Merge it or close it. I mean, there's a middle ground where you can offer constructive feedback and explain that they need to write a test or whatever. But don't leave it hanging around. And I think that's really important for maintainers because you can feel overwhelmed, and actually quite a lot of those things don't need to be there to overwhelm you.
Absolutely.
And finally, thank you as maintainers everywhere. Thank you for all the work that you do. You make the world go round.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that is hard as a maintainer is sometimes you need to switch context between different PRs quite a lot. So that takes a bit of time and adjusting. And I think one of the biggest benefits of a change in rules is the fact that it's harder to waste maintainers' time. And a lot of people don't seem to be mindful that that's time that, if you make a bogus PR and try just to get a t-shirt, that's time that is wasted from good PRs that effectively can help. So not only you're not helping, you're actually going the other way and taking away valuable resources.
And it can be very stressful for maintainers. The big projects get hundreds of pull requests from total rookies who have no idea what they're doing, which is not by itself a bad thing, but it can make a lot of work to support all of those individuals. And realistically, once they get their free t-shirt, they're probably not going to come back and help. Whereas if I get a new pull request any other time of year, it's more likely that has come in because someone uses the project, might become a longer term maintainer, or at least might chip in and be part of the conversation from time to time. And that's much more valuable.
Of course. And I'm hoping that a lot of people submitting PRs now at Hacktoberfest will get that taste of collaboration, of a community, and will continue adding things. And even if it's just correcting grammar or correcting things, I think if we're not pushing everything in just 1 month, it's much easier for maintainers to be able to merge it in and kind of make their code better.
Yeah, and even those very small pull requests, there's incremental improvements, isn't it? We talk about pointless t-shirt. I'm trying to read off the chat at the same time. John needs a new t-shirt. Get on Hacktoberfest, John. I have things to share with you. I'll give you a little to-do list if you need one. I think the small things are really valuable. So sometimes if you've automated a spell check or something, that's not that useful. But we had one where a project that we shipped some time ago, I think the link to the blog post had changed. So the link was broken in the README, and it's a one-line change, right? But they had gone and found the correct link and opened as a pull request with the updated link. That's a tiny change, but it's got real value. Today, I fixed a single typo in an issue template. I hope it's valuable.
Of course, of course.
But I just saw it come past on the work notifications and was like, we could spell this correctly.
Yeah, I think you're particularly good inside our team of picking things and not letting them slip and not thinking, it's okay, I'll do it later. And I love that you keep me up to that standard as well in that PR we were talking about earlier. And that's amazing, because that is creating good habits. And I think if we can impart those habits, it might sound, for some people, it might sound draconian, or it might sound like, oh, why do I need to do this? But putting that in place, I think in the long term, it'll be very beneficial.
Yeah, if the thing is, if it would take longer to write it down on my to-do list to create the issue, to create the pull request, than it takes to just open the pull request. I mean, bearing in mind, I do this all the time, so I'm really familiar with the tools.
Yeah.
I just open the pull request, like, boom, done. Next. Could we fix this while we're here? Great. Then we don't need to prioritize it, get back into this headspace where we're both working with this thing. We can do it immediately. So it's not so much that I want to be really, I'm trying to think of the polite way to say, uptight or on point with everything. It's not that I think I don't want to be perfectionist, but if there's a really achievable thing while we're in the context, really like to just do it, and then it's done, because that it's efficient. I can do more with my waking hours when I do it.
Of course. Do you have a set time that you say, if it takes me 5 minutes to do this, I'll do it, or I'll leave it for later, or I track it somewhere? Do you have a system like that, or it's purely just however it feels?
It would take longer to open especially because if I have to open a Jira issue for someone to do it at work, Jira is quite inaccessible, so that's really slow for me. Yes, so then if it's 12 minutes to my next meeting and I think I could ship it, like, what are you going to do with 12 minutes that's better than this?
Yeah.
What? Nothing.
Not Jira ticket for sure.
So it just sort of depends. If I have a moment, then I go for it, and if not, I try and just jot it down. And if I'm really not going to get to it, then fair enough, I'll open the issue and we'll do it later. Or maybe I'll just decide it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Like, it's a typo, but the intent is clear.
Yeah, so Dipto is saying in the chat that he did exactly that. He fixed a broken link in a Newcastle University project, and he got a long email appreciating his efforts. So yeah, that's a good feeling to get something like that. And yeah, you probably, I know Sudipta, I think he's a CS student as well. Mm-hmm. So probably he was consuming that project anyway. So making sure that you leave things better than you found them, I think it's a great thing about open source.
Yeah, and that's my attitude. It's not that I'm doing more work than anyone else. I'm just trying to fix everything that I see, so that I can come back and see it again for any reason. Come back and see it when someone reports a bug with it.
Exactly. And on the topic of blog posts, if you'd like to write blog posts for us, we have kind of system for you to do that, and you can get $500 for writing a blog post for us. So if you want to write about technology, about our APIs, we open to suggestions and we're open to collaborations. I think there is a command for that, but I can't remember what it was.
It's I think it's Spotlight.
Oh yes, that's one. That's the name of a program, Developer Spotlight. Awesome. Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Lorna. Brilliant. That was really good. Let's go through the rest of kind of our streaming efforts for October. So we're on the 23rd today. Today we have a builder thing with Kevin this afternoon. So we're doing quite a lot of streaming. We still have, I'll make it a bit wider so we can see everything. We still have a daily streams next week. And on top of that, we have lots of different kind of our regular shows. So Week in It is the Client SDK show on Monday. Mistakes Were Made is... I always, when I think of Michael and Bold Bearded Builder, I always, in my mind, it sounds like Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
And
Him as well.
And then Developer Drop In.
That'll be me on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, and that is what time is it? Oh, it's 5 o'clock London.
3 o'clock
10,
London. 3 o'clock London.
sorry, 3 o'clock. Sorry, yes. I was trying to, because I think this timings are wrong.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 11 o'clock New York.
Yeah, and 10 San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, Developer Drop-In is my show, so it's pinned to London time.
Yeah.
It's not pinned to UTC. It's pinned to me.
Yeah.
I'm not in London, but that's what time zone I'm in. So
yeah. And all the daily streams are pinned to UTC because that's what we're doing. The last one that Lorna mentioned earlier we're planning to make it a big one. The time has changed slightly. We made it a bit later, so some of our colleagues from the other side of a pond can join us as well, because 11 UTC is very early for most of them. So that will be 1 p.m. UTC or 2 p.m. London time next Thursday. But yeah, join us.
We'll be on UTC next Thursday. We're changing our clocks this weekend. So it's 1 o'clock UTC, it's 1 o'clock London.
You're absolutely right.
Time zones are hard.
So that in that case, it's
summertime is tricky.
Actually, let me check my calendar because I can't remember what we changed it to.
It'll be a show at a time on Friday.
It's 2 p.m. UTC.
2 o'clock UTC, so 2 o'clock London, and that'll be 10 o'clock Eastern. 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yes. Yeah. Time zones and maths is probably it's hard.
Let me help.
Time zones are off by one, so probably the biggest problems in programming.
Time zones are a big problem, I think, for developers living here in the UK, because half the year it looks like UTC is fine.
Yeah.
And then you find out in March which things you didn't understand since October. Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have BST and GMT and other stuff and lots of different things. And yeah. Anyway, but one thing I want to also mention is the Tuesdays that we're doing. So we did Hacktoberfest Tuesdays for the last 3 Tuesdays. The last one is going to be next Tuesday and going to be the Europe one. Mm-hmm. So this will be hosted on kind of London time zones, but in the same time, it's fairly accessible for the US time zones as well. And this, you can sign up.
If you're awake, you're welcome. That's how this works.
Yeah, exactly. So who's presenting on this? So we're going to have a workshop. Do you know who does the workshop on this one?
Me.
Oh, it is you.
Yeah, they're introducing Hacktoberfest in open source and a little demo on how to do the open source. That will be me. I'm doing the London presentation.
Brilliant. Thank you. Not sure why your name is not in here, but
no, I don't know either. But anyway, it is. I know that it is me. I did Israel last week, and I'm doing Israel this week and London next week. So, but London plus whoever's awake at 6 p.m. UK time, would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And then we have 2 contributors discussing the open source projects. And
one of them says you should pull request and fix it.
Oh, brilliant.
There's a bunch of things that need fixing on this page.
It looks
we won't make you do it on screen, though.
We could probably do it, but I'll need to prepare my environments and kind of make sure that, because the streaming through StreamYard, you need to understand how it works and how you stream different windows and things. And probably I'll have to stream a whole screen to switch between different windows because it's not easier to do it.
Yes. Use Docker. Yes, John, our docs thing comes up in Docker. But to share the editor and the preview and everything, Paul would need a different setup than he's got right now. Yeah.
Cool. The last thing I want to mention is the Voyagers. This is an awesome program that we have, and there is a Voyagers command.
Luke, just shared it. There we go.
Oh, brilliant. I think we did it in the same time. I no need to to apologize, John.
Never apologize. Yeah. That's my motto.
So this is another program. I think we're still taking applications for the next bunch.
Yes.
And that's the last thing from me. Obviously, there are lots of documentations that you can find on our developer.nexmo.com. The last thing I want to say is if you want to follow Lorna, she's big on Twitter. You should follow Lorna Jane. She had some really good insights. You should definitely follow her. And also you should subscribe to her channel. You're hosting us.
I'm hosting us. I've recently learned how to host another channel because I'm a bit of a Twitch newbie, but I'm really enjoying it. And I was live this morning doing some of my open source stuff on the RST to PDF project. So
awesome. It's like Inception here. It just goes
it
down.
is. You're screen sharing me, screen sharing you, screen sharing.
Yep. Yep. So follow Lorna on Twitch as well. She does some really good streams about open source. Cool. That's all I had for today. It was lovely having you, Lorna. And it was lovely to have a conversation rather than just myself talking on my own. I always find it's easier when you have someone else to share a conversation with.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, it depends a bit on the other person, right?
Correct.
I don't mind when it's you. Yeah, no, I it's a bit of a mix, but I feel like the chat always keeps me company. If you are in the chat and you have questions or anything else you'd like to talk about, you need to start typing now because Paul is wrapping up his show now. But yeah, I don't mind too much. When I stream on my personal stream by myself, I've started putting music on because I stream first thing in the morning and I'm not always really chatty.
Yeah, I need probably 2 coffees before I can start chatting properly.
Yeah, whereas I start the stream as I start my coffee. So it can be a little bit, hold on, I can't talk and type at the same time until I've ingested all of this. And then it's like, okay, now I can talk to you. Yeah,
it was nice yesterday because the stream yesterday was kind of the same setup we're having today. It was Julia and Greg, and
I saw most
some
of
really interesting discussions in that.
Yeah,
really deep discussions, and I really enjoyed that one as well.
Yeah, no, I think that works really well. I like to have people co-presenting with me. I'm hoping to kidnap a colleague for Wednesday. I don't have them in writing, so I'm not going to name drop them.
Yeah.
It's voice and NCCO, so you might be able to guess.
Okay.
But we'll see until I manage to actually get that organized. I should work on that. But I think it's with the chat here as well. I never really feel alone. Oh. Hey, listen, I can do blue too.
No. People are saying in chat we're very purple, so I thought let's do blue on my side and purple on your side. So
purple. I had pink before. This is purple. I have a sort of nothing variant. If that would be better.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, we're geeks
with LEDs.
Tools. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Hopefully, if you are doing Hacktoberfest, is going well for you. We're pretty excited, I think, from our side. We've had some really good pull requests. I have things to review today as well. So, I'm hoping that everyone is doing well.
Yeah, some really great discussions in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and for all the lovely chatting there. And thank you, all the regulars, and thank you, all our colleagues as well, for supporting us on the chat and helping us with commands and whatnot. This was
Shreyas is here. We were just talking about you, Shreyas. Listen, don't worry. When the daily streams are over, we are still here most days of the week, like 3 days a week or 4 days a week with our various streams. So don't be a stranger.
Yep. We'll always be here. We'll always have. It looks like we have more and more shows because we can't go to events. So we need to get our talking out of the system, right? Because we want to talk to people. As you were saying, it's really weird. I think the last event I did was in March when I went to ViewConf in States, and I could feel it. It was the last thing for a while. And now I'm thinking that's not going to happen next year either. So it's really, really strange, especially for us. But
I didn't speak in public this year.
Oh, wow. This must be your first year in probably a long time, not speaking at a single event in a year.
I gave my first talk in public in 2007.
That was probably the one I was at as well.
No, that was 2008, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did DPC in 2008, and that was we did the London leg as the warm-up. Yeah, and I did one bar camp in 2007, DPC in 2008, and I've spoken between 10 and 30 times a year since then. This year, I mean, I've done a bunch of online presentations. It's not like I'm not delivering content.
Yeah, of course.
But I did not. I might have done a user group. I don't think I spoke in person at all.
Yeah.
In 2020, which is it's weird.
it's quite a big thing because I'm not sure about others, but I like talking to people. It's probably the most introvert person you're going to meet, but I like talking to people, which is weird, but yeah. We'll get
people
there
are here,
eventually.
they're just digital.
Yeah,
You're still talking to people.
Yeah, of course. And we can bring them on the stream at some point and kind of help them and kind of have a chat with us and see, kind of try to replicate the face-to-face thing.
Well, we're using the Remo platform for the Hacktoberfest Tuesdays event on Tuesday, and I like that for being small group video chat. And I know some of you have been there on some of our other events, and if not, sign up and come and chat to us. Are you at the event on Tuesday?
I was not, but I will be now.
Okay, perfect. Then come and talk to us because I really like that format for sort of hallway track substitute.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a really great setup, and this is a good example of tools that were there just in time, and I think benefited a lot from the lockdown.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you everyone in the chat. Thank you again, Lorna. I really, really appreciate your time. Always great to catch up with you and have a chat. And I'll see you all on Monday. Don't forget to join Kevin's Build a Thing later today. And have a good weekend. Look after yourselves. Make sure you come first, not the tech. The tech can wait. The tech will always be there. Just look after yourselves. Go and distress. Go and spend time outdoors if you're allowed to. Go and just even talking to someone over the fence. I think it's social distancing. I think that still will be a good thing. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you, Lorna.
Stay safe, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye.